You? Or Gen Z?
Gen Y.
Gen Z's,
No, millennials are Y.
Oh,
They,
oh, that makes sense.
Y2K.
Yeah, that shut things down.
Where did they move the comments?
not watching babies today.
Yeah, basketball season's over. I did.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they have competitions. It used to.
Yeah, we had the,
There's Sarah.
the tournament was on Saturday for us.
It's middle school? Elementary? I still think sixth grade is elementary, but it's not.
It always was when I was growing.
I think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It isn't.
It changed.
Yeah, it's middle school.
Now it's middle school.
Sixth grade.
Now
Now it is.
Hmm.
Well, it's all the hormones in the mix.
There's also the upgraded RHS in the early 2000s.
It's all an architectural thing.
Yeah, that was.
Well, that was always kind of weird not to have ninth grade. Was that? what they-
I took language classes there when I was in ninth grade. If you wanted to take language, you went to high school. And varsity sports.
That was started high school in the ninth grade, which was so
That's-
different
that's
from
the-
Roseburg.
That's the usual sign. That's when most places in the country do it.
Yeah, and Roseburg, it was so weird when I went there.
My ninth grade was one school, all ninth graders.
They have like 4 or 5 high
The whole
schools,
county.
but one school for ninth.
Choke Alaska.
It's the one-
Oh,
it was
that's
Shasta
different.
County instead of-
Oh, that's
My
That's
class
very
was-
similar.
My class was so big, we had like over 600 students per class.
Yeah, mine was
Roseburg was too
550.
big for.
My
Who
graduate.
just lived in Tok, Alaska?
My son, I have family that lives there, but he lived in Solana. Solana's right inside the Wrangell St. Elias National Park.
Okay. 'cause
When
we
you
were in
go up
Fairbanks.
towards Tok. When you go towards Tok, you turn off early to go into,
Okay.
and Solana is the last homestead in America,
Okay.
the very last.
We were in Fairbanks for 18 years, so we got to Tok quite a bit.
We broke down in Tok. Thank God we knew somebody.
The agenda has to be amended already. I mistake, I made error on the date. Whoops.
So are you there, Sarah?
I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can now.
Christina, Lonnie just texted me and said, can you please resend him the link? He sent the wrong one to his home email. Can you send it to his home email?
Because he's at home.
Home again. I did get that email that you referenced also, Mike.
Oh, did, okay.
Yeah. And so I actually printed that as well,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
but I didn't send it out to everybody.
Well,
Oh, there he is.
half hour ago, so.
Did you print out the attachments that you sent the other Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
Because my printer isn't working, so I wasn't able to.
I did, and that's what this stack of paper is.
Good, good.
Yeah, it was an interesting week, so we'll get there.
Are we ready?
I think we are.
If Lonnie's here,
Yes.
I see Lonnie's on there.
yeah, but is he
He's waiting in the,
really there?
Waiting room, I think.
No, he's there.
No, he's there. Oh,
Uh,
Boardman, sorry.
I'm here.
And Jennifer's here?
She's.
I just changed her first name.
iPhone
Oh,
Boardman.
iPhone Boardman. Oh, okay.
We just call it iPhone from now on.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:34 PM. Christine, can you please call the roll?
Sarah Thompson,
Here.
Janice Baker. Here. Kat Stone.
Here.
Jim Delap,
Here.
Mike Baker,
Here.
Lonnie Rainville,
Here.
Tom Trotter.
Here.
Okay, Mike, will you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, Liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to item 4, consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes and the preventative maintenance report?
Yeah.
Yes.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Thank you so much.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Kat, second by Mike. Any discussion? Anybody not in favor of approving the consent agenda? Motion passes. Moving on to item 5, financial report. Sherry?
Yeah, we should be using about 67% of our budget at this point, and we're still doing really well. Our income is slightly under, we're still expecting second quarter reimbursements. First quarter we've gotten some, but we're still waiting on a few. Payroll overall is at 47%. And material and services is at 62.32%. We've talked about some of the variances and some of the unbudgeted expenses and like the travel and things like that, that we budgeted based off the year before, and we weren't going anywhere because of COVID. So those are things that we're working on with the new budget this year. So we'll be addressing some of those and making some adjustments in some of those areas. But overall, we're doing really, really well. Next month, you guys will see some of the down in the payroll section, the medical transportation, we've kind of worked some of that out. So you guys, next month, we'll start in
good.
March.
Separating it.
Yep, we're starting separating some of that. So, yeah. Anybody have any
Should
questions?
we be concerned about the lagging reimbursements from the first quarter?
That's my fault. I got behind on the report. And if I don't get the report in, we don't get the reimbursement. So that's on me. That's not an ODOT issue. That's a Cheryl issue.
Okay, well, I won't call Washington DC.
We've gotten some, and the others I've seen, Jennifer has pushed some of the federal money through, so we should be seeing, they're doing ACH payments now to us directly.
Oh. Excellent.
That speeds it up a little bit too. We did get one last week for one of the grants, and then the other two.
Surprising they haven't done that before.
So remember
It's more
when we
secure,
started the
it's-
district, we didn't have real checks.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't do the ACH because we didn't have a real check to write.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
We had a real one that we could write our address on.
right? They would have not take
Yeah.
a temporary check for us.
And they didn't have an avenue to just do it.
No, they're the government.
Yes, it's the government. Motion to approve the January financial report.
Second.
Was that Tom?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion by Kat, second by Tom. Any discussion on the financial report? Anybody opposed to approving the financial report, say aye. Okay, motion passes. Moving on to item 6, public comment for on-agenda items only.
Nothing.
Okay, do we have old business? I don't see anything underneath of it.
No, we didn't know if we might come up with some, but no, we do not.
Okay. Okay, moving on to item 8, new business, 8.1 budget committee applicant review.
So we do have one application in your packet. And she is on the Zoom call with us today.
How many openings do we have?
Yeah, don't we have like several more, 2 or 3,
I think we have 2 more.
at least 2?
Oh, yeah, because we have to replace Jim because he's a permanent member. As the board
Mhm.
member.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought. I wonder how
Yes.
many we're counting. So what are we doing to
We
recruit?
would have one more after this.
One more after this?
We're doing better.
Okay,
Good.
better than I thought.
So you go by Constance, Connie, that's there. Yeah. So you're,
You're on mute.
You're muted.
Still,
Do we have her muted?
No, she does.
I have me muted. My husband's playing guitar and I didn't want it to bother anybody. So yes, I'm Connie Page. I'm applying to be on the budget committee. I'm really interested in transportation in this area. I don't live right in the city of Roseburg. I live out near Glide. But I'm in almost every day for different volunteer activities and, you know, just your normal everyday activities.
well, I'm highly interested in non-I-5 representation, so you would not be part of the I-5 county.
No.
So I'm real happy about you being there.
And
Thank you.
Monday nights work well, and that we're having our
Monday, Tuesdays.
Monday,
Monday,
Wednesday.
Tuesday, those times work for you?
For the
Oh,
budget
that's-
committee?
Yeah,
Yes, Monday or Tuesday, either one of those is fine. I would,
I just asked because of the quorum requirement. So, it's important now.
Uh-huh.
and are they on Zoom or are they in person or what are you doing with that now?
We're doing hybrids, just like we are with this
Okay,
meeting.
all right, and you're using the owl,
Yes.
great,
We're uptown.
I guess so.
So, can we make a motion to accept the applicant?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Kat, second by Mike. Any more discussion? Anybody opposed to appointing Connie to the budget committee? Say aye. Okay, motion passes. I'm guessing that was 8.2, so 8.3 budget committee bylaws review.
Christine put together bylaws for the budget committee for your review.
I kind of thought some of it didn't really apply. But I didn't make notes or highlight anything. So,
It looked like kind of a typical, kind of.
and they look very
They
boring.
look good. I actually had no changes to them.
It was a hybrid
Yeah, that's
of LTD's bylaws and what we typically have for our committee bylaws.
Well, do we have to approve them tonight or can we table them? Because I felt like we didn't have them before. And I'd really like to go over them with a highlighter or two. Just because.
We have time to do that because the first budget committee meeting is not until after our next board meeting, so.
Cool,
that
very
works.
cool.
Mhm.
So I moved to table it until after the next meeting or at the next meeting when we have more time to go over them.
Any
Not that there's
objection?
anything wrong with them, they just seem awkward.
I'll just say a second one.
Oh, Tom, second, okay.
Okay. We have a motion by Kat and a second by Tom to table this item till next meeting. Anybody in disagreement with that, please say aye. Okay, motion passes. On to
But-
item, whoa,
So while we're tabling the decision, is there anything that you want to share with us or anything, something that we should be paying attention to when we do? Look at them in more detail? I mean, I went through them, but I didn't.
I didn't see.
I just wanted, if there's
anything
anything
that
that you wanted to highlight, is all.
No,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see anything that was out of line and I didn't look at it with an eye to.
No big
draw-
surprises or something kind of weird or something that you threw
Well,
in
there
there.
was
but
that
maybe-
extra payment for me.
Yeah.
No, it all looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Moving on to 9.1, Project Next Door. Cheryl?
Okay, so, wow, so this was a really challenging, blow to find out. As, I've been working with Jennifer Boardman and she's been working with FTA on the NEPA process. There was a, and I've highlighted it in the item cover sheet. And there is a piece that is in, I didn't actually find it anywhere else, but it is in the slide program that they put together that says that the property acquisition cannot occur until after NEPA is complete. So we did not complete a NEPA process when we went through the process of purchasing the property next door. My understanding at that time was that we needed to show clear intent that that's what we wanted to do with the property. What it actually says is if our clear intent was to utilize it for federally, for use with federal funds, that we cannot use it for federal funds because of the fact that we did not do the NEPA first. So Jennifer is still working with the FTA to see if there's some pushback that we can do on that. But the more that I look through documents that are letters from FTA that are letters of that they send out, letter of notice that you should pay attention to this kind of a thing. They're not going to let us build on that with federal funds. So it's possible that Jennifer will be able to do something different. But like I said, the more that I look at it, the less likely I feel that we're going to get to do it, at least in a timely enough manner that we'd be able to utilize the funding that we have pending. There is some information Jennifer forwarded to me from, I believe it was State of Ohio. They were seeking information from other state DOTs, whether or not they'd had this situation because there had been like a notice of funding that went out, and it was put out there that, you know, the more project ready, more shovel ready your project was, the better chance you were going to have at getting this competitive funding. So they had multiple providers that went out in their state and purchased property with local funds, just like we did. And they're not able to receive the federal funding that they were awarded either. And so they're looking for workarounds and stuff like that. So there are people out there working on how we can resolve this, if it can be resolved. My question to Jennifer was the grant agreement says adjacent property. It does not necessarily mean that it has to be that adjacent property. So I included the map with the parcel on it. So this is for your review. There is the parcel that is the next driveway down. That's the flat. That's like one portion of it, the flat part back to where our fence line is. But then it's also the parcel that goes up further and across, and it meets up with the fence line for the other property and and this property here. So it's something that we could consider, and I don't know if you would want to have an executive session to discuss that. What that would do for us if we decided to make that purchase is it would allow us to start the NEPA process. As we start the process of going through, we would have to do the same thing we did before, work with somebody for design, and then work with City of Roseburg to tell us, you know, the pre-application meeting, what would be required, whether or not they would allow us to implement our plans on that piece of property. When I spoke with the agent to get this information today, I explained that when we went through this process that we did not get the NEPA first, and she went, oh. She was fully aware that that is something that you needed to do. I can't blame anybody else. I realized that was my responsibility. We had a real estate agent that I felt would have a thorough knowledge and understanding of what was required for what we were doing. And that between the two of us, we failed. So that's where we are. It's not that we won't be able to utilize that property at some point in the future.
You just flip what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Flip it.
New
Yes.
person here, what
Yes.
is, I don't know what a NEPA is.
oh,
National Environmental Policy Act.
yes,
E-
that's it.
EIS,
environmental.
There's environmental documentation that takes a look, not just at the environment, but the built environment, just all the different impacts when you build something. How does it impact
Or cut something.
the natural resources, socials, structure,
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
raw.
So we have to look at how would it impact the residences that.
there's noise.
Or above and
Whether it's
below.
the water, yeah, the flood zone, all of that kind of stuff.
Station or something, or.
Is there
Very
an artesian well
that's definitely-
there under it?
It's a
Yeah,
rough.
Indian burial ground.
This is true.
Yeah. One of the agencies in our.
Probably actually cheaper to develop the other property.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I like the
Just look for
idea,
father.
more is better, I want more.
It's a bigger property.
Yes, it is, and it's kind of flatter.
Yeah, well, it comes up behind us right here.
Yeah,
So-
Land use wise, it shouldn't be a problem with the city, so.
It's still mixed use, just like this one is.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really like it, it could be a blessing in disguise,
Mhm.
you know?
It would give us the opportunity to separate the electric bus shelter or,
From the
building.
hydrogen cell.
Yeah, so, the fear with the electric buses being in with all the rest of the buses
Mhm,
is that if there were a thermal event, it could take all of our buses out.
Increases
Yes.
the separation between the residential
Oh,
neighborhood.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. We wouldn't have thought of it if it hadn't happened. And we wouldn't, drive towards it. if
No,
it
you may
hadn't
not be
happened.
able to fully develop some of it you're gonna probably make up, but now you gotta buy property, right? Which was 800 and something thousand. I thought it
We
was.
should be able to get
Yes.
grants for that.
Well, so
Possibly.
it's possible, not necessarily in the time frame that we're looking for, because there is a grant out there. That is due by May 31st, and it is the ODOT carbon reduction grant. And my thought on that one was we could really look at developing either the hydrogen or the R99 or both, really, because they're both gonna take, the R99 will take the diesel buses down to an emission that is equal to the electric buses, which is 0.8 or 0.08, I'm not sure, I don't remember. And then the hydrogen, it comes down to zero emission, it is what comes out the tailpipe is water. So both are eligible, don't know.
Ask for
How,
triple.
how does the timing work? Because they're not gonna award those until what, roughly October?
Right, well, then they wouldn't actually be executed until the following year,
Yeah.
because I
So
asked,
24, right?
Yeah.
Spring of
Well,
24.
We might get the buses until then, the way things have been going.
But I'm just saying, and
they're on time.
They're on time all of a sudden.
we've gotta spend the other grant.
Yeah,
And so are you saying to use the climate reduction one to purchase this property?
oh, no, but if we could put more stuff on it. I think that if we did.
Or just to make up some of the stuff, because now we would be buying the property with this grant, the
Mhm.
existing grant that we have and try to get,
Well,
is that what you're saying?
so our grant does not state that we can purchase the property.
Okay,
It is for
The
the
structure.
building, the building and putting all of the utilities in and the solar and all that.
so
kind of
how's your
stuff.
acquisition?
We would have to do something like what we did with this building, I
So,
believe. We'd have to do a loan like through Umpqua Bank like we did with this building.
would there be an opportunity to apply for a grant? Through climate reduction, even if we got a loan then to help pay back a chunk or a lot of that?
I have to pencil all those things out and have some discussions and figure out how exactly that works. But I
And could we get an infrastructure bank loan through ODOT?
could check that too.
Let's do it. I like
I
it.
can, I can give you a firm, I don't know on all of this.
Well, in planning, it's called, the answer is it depends.
No, I
So-
got that.
I found this out on Thursday as I was getting ready to send off what direction are we gonna go with this next year? And so I came to a screeching halt and went, I don't know.
Well, the
Yeah,
climate,
I don't know.
reduction applications are due at the end of this month. So just in a couple weeks.
No, the climate reduction is due by the end of May 31st.
Oh, I thought it was March.
No,
It is May, okay,
yeah,
It's May
Yeah.
31st.
yeah.
okay. Don't know why it was a little time.
Yeah, but there are some other opportunities that kind of come along with, being able to take a little bit longer and plan some things. Because there are the electric charging station reimbursement. I haven't gotten deep enough into it yet. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know what it would involve. And so I need to get with Ryan and get a better explanation. But apparently, if we put in the charging stations, that would be for either our smaller vehicles when we get electric vehicles, or employees' cars, or the general public, whoever comes to see us, people in the parking lot. If we put those in, and especially if we include solar power, previously, a government entity didn't benefit from any of the incentives that you typically would get with these kinds of grants, because we don't pay taxes. And so usually they're a tax incentive. And so what they've done to overcome and combat that is a direct reimbursement. And I don't remember if it was 70 or 90%, but I believe it's 90%, which is huge. It allows us to put the infrastructure in that maybe not everybody needs it, but at some point we're gonna need to have it available, So yeah, there's some opportunities that we have to be able to plan a little bit better and implement. Well, it won't be hodgepodge. It won't be, oh, here's a grant for this, let's throw that out there, We'll be able to put a plan together and say, we want this here, this here, this here, this, and make it work the way it ought to work. So I come from, oh my God, what are we gonna do, to that's what we can do in like 4 days. Takes me a minute.
Oh, land on your feet.
So that's where we are. We do have, okay, we kind of have both of them together. So the low now, which, goes hand in hand with that, because we have to have the infrastructure in the ground for the charging stations for the electric buses no later than December, because they are on time to be able to deliver those in January. If we have the focus on making that happen first, parking for the buses and parking for the electric buses and getting that infrastructure in first.
But we have to do site plan approval, we have to get
Mhm,
an engineering company to engineer that piece
mhm.
of property, not to mention acquire there's,
There's a lot going on.
and
Yes.
then get it bid and built.
Yes, so then we can get
What's the obligation? Is it just going out to bid?
2026.
No, is it?
Oh.
I thought you
don't-
said it had to be obligated by October or December.
Oh,
or
well,
whatever,
we
so-
have to have the infrastructure in for the buses, because the buses we
Yeah,
will be taking delivery of January of 2024.
is it just because we have to put the buses somewhere? Is that what the issue is? It's not a grant requirement or something, okay? Okay, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah,
then.
we have a place to
We
put the
can,
buses before.
we can figure out where to put the buses, even if that means temporarily renting something or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep,
Yeah,
we've been through that door
I'm not
already.
concerned about that.
Okay.
But if it was a grant issue in terms of obligation has to occur by X date, you know, we can't make that's what I was concerned about.
So I know that when we did the project next door. I'm sorry, I have a hard time not losing it over the whole thing. It's either laugh or cry.
It is what it is and we move forward.
Yeah,
Well, you've
yeah.
never done this kind of thing before, so.
No,
Nobody has.
Nobody has. So
Nobody
it's not-
has.
It's not, you know, roll with it.
Can Jennifer help? Can we roll Jennifer into this conversation?
So Jennifer has been great help to me
Mhm.
all the way through the whole process. I mean, the initial email to me was from Jennifer Boardman in July of 2020 that lined out what needed to happen. But we'd already purchased that property by then.
Wow.
You know, so we had gone through the list of all the things that needed to be met. But the NEPA was not on the list of things that we had to meet in order to purchase the property.
Right.
So
How would you have known? I mean.
I didn't even have an inkling that it had to be done first until RVTD had their issue with almost not getting their funding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so theirs was a different issue, and it was a building that had been purchased downtown near their
Know their
transit.
call center.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
So-
that needed a NEPA review?
Anything you use $1 of federal
Federal
funding, the whole
funds.
project becomes federalized.
Yeah,
I was
$1
so
all it
shocked
takes.
to see
Yeah.
the word this late in the game, but I never missed it when it wasn't there.
yeah, I was pretty much, so,
Well, I mean, we were a building new organization and, you know,
so,
we had to get a place to here. And then that, while we were getting this place, that opportunity came up right then and it's right next door.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
So,
They jump on it.
and it was actually pretty inexpensive, as I recall. I don't know if it
I'm
was-
not used to NEPA being involved in something in the city. You know, to me,
It's
NEPA
anywhere.
is
It's
for
anywhere.
out of town.
It's more likely in a city, actually.
Why couldn't they do that NEPA after the fact? Why can't you do that NEPA thing after the fact?
Well, you've already killed all the bugs.
Because you're supposed to take the least kind of impactful or make sure there's a determination that it won't have there's no significant impact. Not that there's not impact, but there's no
Well,
significant
they
impact.
pretty much never find any significant impact, even if they're,
Well, there is impact, but there's impact and then there's significant impact.
yeah, well, they never
Yeah.
find significant impact
Yeah.
because they don't look.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have anything to worry about there, just from my experience on the other side.
And FTA usually is much easier than federal highway, but you just gotta go through the process.
well, I get the impression, and Jennifer can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they're walking hand in hand on this. The NHWA, is that it?
FHWA,
FHWA, yeah.
federal highway.
In FTA, because the presentation that I saw the slides for, FTA's list was on this side and the other was on this side, and they, it seems as if they're kind of utilizing the same personnel to make the determination. I don't know.
Well, can we roll in number 11 with this one? Can we roll in Jennifer's ODOT report with this so that we can cover everything together?
Sure, but when, I don't have a problem with that. The one thing that I can say is when I started working with IE Engineering for the design phase of that, they were really quick. They had something to me in probably 3 weeks, and they helped me schedule the pre-application conference with the city. And usually those are just a couple of weeks out. They do like 1 or 2 of them a month. So if we decide that's the route that we want to go, determine whether or not it's an appropriate property to purchase, then I can start that process tomorrow. I've already shared a lot of the information about the projects that we're looking at with them previously, you know,
So we probably want to have that discussion in executive session.
yes.
Tonight.
No, it
Yes.
has to be advertised
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
well, I thought
Oh,
we
yeah.
were already having one.
Yeah.
on a
So-
specific item, and you have to advertise the letter. Yeah.
Picky, picky, picky.
It's letter E.
The what?
It's letter E.
Letter E.
I already looked it up.
Oh, good for you.
So, yeah, all right, so,
So I just wanted to hear Jennifer's voice on all of it. And I wondered if we had to wait for her report, but
Do we still need a motion though on the grant agreement?
to accept, to give me authority to sign for the, and Sarah would also need to sign because of the dollar amount. Yes, we do need a motion for that.
okay,
Yes.
so that's still going through.
Yes, that's,
I'm making a motion for, are we on 9.2 now?
I'm 9-2, yes.
Yeah, I'm making a motion
The second.
for 9.2.
Let's authorize the general manager and Sarah to sign the execute the agreement.
to execute the grant agreement. Good deal.
And was that a motion by Tom, a second by Janice? Is that what I heard?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, we have a motion by Tom, second by Janice. Anybody opposed? Please say aye. Motion carries. My only question about that is how soon do you need that signed? Because I will not be back in Oregon until the 3rd of April.
Oh, that's only a couple of weeks away. I think we'll be fine because we can't spend the money yet.
Okay.
Won't a fax machine work?
sometimes you have to have the original signature.
Yeah.
So we can mail the original signature.
Well,
takes
usually
4
I
days.
scan them to
Yeah.
Kodak, yeah. Yeah,
If it works for them.
Yeah, I think that's my question. Would it not work for them?
all right.
It might not be fax machines in California.
Oh, so,
Do you have any going postals?
Not on the base.
Oh, I didn't know you were on another planet.
All right, moving on to Cheryl's general manager report.
so, honestly, you heard a lot of, what I've been focused on. I've forwarded a lot of it to you in the email. For the executive session tonight. So I've just been doing a deep dive into a lot of different numbers, and I'm really impressed with how our ridership is increasing. And I am gonna ask Crystal to start showing this in a different type of a graph so that you can see that that increase, that year over year. Because that is in the other, the graph that I sent you for my review. You can see that year over year increase with the fixed route, with the demand response, paratransit, all of that. You can see the steady growth and the huge leaps that we've made this year with our ridership. So even though we're not back to where we were pre-2020, we are making significant progress. I also did talk to Northwest Bus. So they had some more information. So the hybrid vehicles that we ordered, they wanted to know if we really wanted hybrid vehicles, because XL Hybrid is the only manufacturer of that kit that makes it into a hybrid for a bus or like our van conversions. And XL Hybrid is going out of business. So they have enough for the 3 buses, but they are not sure if they are going to have them for the vans that were ordered as hybrid. And so it is entirely possible that all of the vans will come as gasoline powered vans, with none of them being hybrid. And it's not like we can change. Yeah,
This is my face, not happy.
I hear you.
And we don't even have the option to go 100% electric because there's less mechanical failure if we go 100% electric. We are looking at more maintenance down the road if we go all gasoline.
This is a tried and true technology though.
It is true.
Also, our horse and buggy.
So the
Yes.
demand response vans, if they're, I would say if they're not hybrid, they need to be gas, until we get the hydrogen thing going. And that's simply because the distances that they travel and the terrain that they travel, sometimes, you know, they're going out into the boonies, some of them.
Electric's
at their
not feasible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we would have to have a third again as many vehicles because they wouldn't be able to run a full day if they're dropping their lift, and because that takes a lot of power. Our buses have extra batteries to power the lift. And the vans have, you know, the Super Duty kind of batteries for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get vans, so.
Yeah. The electric, they would have to come in partway through their day and trade out at this point.
Wouldn't work.
That's just weird.
That might not work as good in the cold either.
No.
That's
Yeah, the cold is a problem, but I don't see
I say go with the
where
gas.
they have 360-mile.
Move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just be practical.
Yeah, for now, it is what it is.
Oh, I
and
can't
it's-
win, so I'm not gonna argue.
Well, I mean, we'd have to if we were gonna do it, we probably could, but we'd have to go back in line and reorder through somebody else and probably then we lose the
Well,
the
it's
amount, so
still be
it costs more and.
I get to still be unhappy.
Okay, you get
Doesn't
happy.
mean- it doesn't mean
Get
I
that
think
smile
I'm
off your
gonna
face.
win.
Yeah.
I'm always like,
And these grants, the ones that these vehicles are getting ready to come in on, they can't be extended any further. So, there are some, I have another grant that we went out for, an RFQ for vehicles, just, and we got the responses, but the responses are so astronomically high, they're more than what the grant is, so I have to prepare an evaluation and look at what is that difference between, because it's significant, so. And that's not even with anything fancy, that's not electric, that's not hybrid, that is just straight vehicles, and they came in so high, it was, yeah,
Let's get what we can and be grateful.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah, because
but
so,
I still get to.
Once they're public.
helping people is more important than our.
it
Other
is, then,
Well, I just wonder if our grant was for hybrid vehicles, you know, how is it affected by? We go backwards and get the gasoline.
so the original. You know, that's a good question, and I need to talk with Jennifer about it, but that also is something that I just found out this last week and haven't had the opportunity to connect with her.
I'm pretty sure it was a good question.
Yeah,
Okay, now I'm gonna be quiet and we can move on.
yeah. All right, and that's really
That's a good
it.
question, because I could really.
Mess with
Think
us?
it, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe just put an extra battery in it, call it hybrid or something.
I'm like,
Any
I
other-
would think, Tom,
A hillbilly hybrid,
Yeah.
just make one.
Well, just like a cheap panel on the roof, so.
Yeah.
Extra battery.
I'll get the duct tape.
Was that it, Cheryl?
Oh, lots of that.
That's it for me.
Any questions for Cheryl on her report?
With like the property price, the possibility here. I know some of the real estate's been starting to go down in price, so.
Yeah,
but the
I get it.
interest rates go up.
Is this the one, well, I'll
Possible.
say it for executive session, never mind.
Okay.
Somebody here with the pizza?
No.
Oh, no, it's the demand response drivers
Oh,
coming
okay.
in. Yeah. All right, so
Okay.
I think that's that.
We will
That's
move
it?
on to Jennifer.
iPhone
iPhone Boardman.
iPhone board.
Hello, iPhone Boardman.
You are muted, Jennifer.
Maybe it's pronounced differently. No, iPhone.
iPhone.
It's home. It's home.
iPhone, eh?
Maybe she's driving. Maybe she stepped away from it.
It's probably going through like some major water right now. on the highway.
Oh, there she is.
She's coming back.
Yeah, that disconnected.
She's gone through a tunnel.
Yeah.
There she is.
There
iPhone.
she
You're still
is.
muted.
Sorry, my microphone wasn't working. I'm gonna turn my camera off because I don't have very much battery left. I'm on the road at the moment.
Oh, yes.
So as far as the, just a little background on the RVTD, they had the property for quite some time. It's actually the adjacent property to where they are currently on Crater Lake. And they had purchased that property quite a while ago. And they ran into very similar problems that we did. So I am going to be pushing back on the FTA to see if there's anything that we can do. Sent an email off again today to one of the supervisors and asked for some additional information. So hope to have some answers soon. And if not, bringing in the program services manager to see if there's anything they can do because they deal directly with FTA. The other thing, we did get an extension on, we can get an extension on both grants. The grant, the 5339, I already asked for that. And that was going to be going through 26. And then the one that you guys currently have, we can probably get that pushed out to 27. So we have opportunity to push out some of these grants, which would be helpful.
Yes.
The other thing to consider is, since you're just beginning the process, I would recommend looking at the infrastructure bank again, if there's any possibility to do that, to purchase your property with the infrastructure rather than going through Umpqua Bank. But
Okay.
that's something that we can look at. Because I think the interest rate, it might have gone up, but it was 2.1 or something like that percentage points for the infrastructure bank. And then the other thing we have is in January of February 2024, we will have the 5339 grants that are going to be available in the 5310. So we'll have opportunity to get additional funding for capital projects. So hoping to find out tomorrow from the gentleman at FTA whether we can have any kind of an exception or whether the information that's going on in Ohio is going to help us, because it does sound like they have several agencies that purchase property and are running into the same situation. So yes.
It can't just be the states that start with O.
Well, and we're both ODOT, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, we do have COVID funding that's going to be coming available. They're going to release the information in May. That'll be operational only for COVID. And we will have 5334 planning money January of next year as well. And that's about all I have.
That's really great information, Jennifer, in my ears, but could you put that down in kind of a roadmap in words with dates so that I can follow it?
I can send that to Cheryl and she can forward it to you, or send it to Kristen.
Yes.
Yep.
Please.
Well, and I hope
Thank
to
you,
have
Jen.
some more firm answers from the FTA tomorrow as far as what's going on with this, so.
Oh, yeah, as much information as you could put together in some sort of vocabulary that I can understand in the winter.
Yeah, and they did change the regulation, and I just have to go back and find out what date they changed the regulation on requiring the NEPA prior to purchase, because you used to have to do several steps, that did not include NEPA, and that's where RVTD came in. I think that's where the folks at ODOT in, Ohio came into play. Is that they were going under the guidelines, and you guys purchased your property in 2020.
Yes.
So, yeah,
So
I need to
do-
find out exactly when that changed, that you had to have the NEPA, because the trainings that we had in 2019 did not require that, so. Or
So
2018.
there was a letter, and I'll share the link to you, that went out in 2016. And
Mhm.
then there was a recension of that by, well, I believe it was by executive order in February of 2021. So I don't know if it's specifically what we need, but I will forward that link to you.
If you could
Okay.
just make us a treasure map that we could
Yeah.
follow with the dates and the events.
Yeah, the other thing that comes into play is that they are, under the IIJA, they're starting to require more Buy America for construction projects. But we got a Dear Colleague letter last week that said that if you had your advertisement of your solicitation prior to May 22nd of 2022, which ours was for the grants that you got, you would be able to get a waiver for some of the Buy America, so then you wouldn't have to meet all of those requirements. So I'm saving that one into your file, because I'm gonna pull that sucker out if they ever come back at us.
Yeah, just put it in your holster. All righty.
We'll see what we can do.
Any other
Okay.
questions for Jennifer? Okay, we will move on to not on agenda.
Congratulations, Sarah, on becoming a grandma.
Thank you. Any NOAs?
Nope.
Okay,
NOA.
public comment. Okay, no public comment. We will move on to agenda build. I know we have the budget committee bylaws will be on the next agenda.
Yes.
Is there anything else?
Land purchase executive session.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think that is all. How do we do this, Christine? You just stop recording and we go into executive session?
No, you have to call the executive session first.
I'll call the executive session to order at 6:23.
You have to declare the section,
Declare the
the
section.
statute and section,
Uh,
and what it's for.
Section
ORS 192.
192.6602I, section 2I.
And then purpose.
And what
To
it is.
review and evaluate the employment-related performance of this chief executive officer of any public body, a public officer, employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing.
I'm so glad you came to do this tonight.
So at this point, do I go?
So, so we could just, there's thing,
Thank you.
but
There's no media, so we have to kick out media.
But
so-
if there's anything that you want to say, sometimes, a lot of times you're allowed to say what you want to say, and then you
No,
leave
hold
while
on.
we
hang on,
discuss.
hold on.
It's an opportunity for you to present
Stop.
something if you want to present, and
Nope,
then we
hold
can
on.
ask you questions. And
Where's the
then
recording?
I
Where
would
is it?
suggest that
Oh,
that
it's
be
here.
a format to do.